Hello friends of YouTube. How many of you are familiar with this vegetable? The turnip, a wonderful root vegetable. And we are about to do a great tasting casserole with potatoes and turnip. Without further ado, let's get us to the kitchen. So this pinkish, purplish potatoes would be interesting. Okay. So these are it. I'm gonna rinse them in water. There, the peeling for the compost bin. Turnips, I'm gonna cut the end there, just barely. Clean the roots, just cut what you need to cut, no more. I did
40-60% ratio.
Potato versus
Turnips.
I'll peel them, then wash them. So these you can almost peel like an apple. Peel it whatever style you want. Those peelers, Econom, are really practical. They let you economize the product. You just peel what you need to peel, no more. You don't waste the product. It's consistent. I smell that turnip. Strong, wonderful smell. See how white it is? So that these are wonderful in a vegetable soup. Carrot, leeks, potato, turnip, wonderful soup. Whether you blend it, make it creamy or not. Turnip is mostly a winter fall vegetable and they can keep a long time. So they make a good source of nutrition when you don't have access to other veggies. To pour over these and mix in the sauce, I will cube some meat, whatever I have available. Pieces of corned beef, pieces of sausage to make it meaty. But of course you can skip that part if you wanted to keep it meatless. A lot of my recipes you can turn into meatless recipes for those who don't care about meat.
I am going to rinse them in water.
Cube them and throw them in the steamer. Be careful, they are pretty hard vegetables, so that your knife won't slip and hurt you. So I cut them in half, and I see if I see an imperfection I can carve it out. But also, cutting them in half will help me have a flat surface that will keep the product from slipping. I think that's a good size. Try to cut them same volume so they cook steam at the same time. I'll pre-steam them because once I put them in the sauce, there is no more cooking going on, just reheat. And the steam will preserve the nutrients as opposed to boiling water. You see the sizes are fairly similar, they will cook at the same speed. These will take a little longer to steam than the potatoes, so I will put them on the bottom underneath the potatoes so I can retrieve the potatoes earlier in the cooking process. There, steamer. If you don't have a big steamer, you can use a smaller one. So I'm going to use that, and with a basket so I can pour it out. All the turnip on the first layer, and I'm going to add the second layer for the potatoes. Same for the potatoes. If it's pointy, I do those two first for volume again. Try to do the same volume as for the turnips. You don't want them too big because you want enough sauce to make it tasty. Beautiful color. Pinkish, purplish, nice and tender compared to the turnip. Again, think volume because your potatoes are not even. Here we go. So now I'm gonna place all this into the second top layer of the steamer. If you don't have a big steamer, do them in batches, one at a time. Or set up two smaller steamers. They make steamer baskets are very convenient to put in the bottom of any pots with a lid that you have. Turn it into a steamer. I'm gonna steam this and get ready to make my mornay sauce. So now I chopped some meat. 3 different kinds of meat, but you can use whatever you have that's fully cooked. Could be cured meat, I've got corned beef, I've got some smoked pork loin. How much meat you want, it's up to you. I just pulled out steamed potatoes, fork tender. I like a little firmness still, so they don't fall apart. And now I have a few extra minutes on the turnips. I've grated the cheese for the cheese sauce. I will not do the cheese sauce in this recipe, not to make it too lengthy. Use your favorite cheese sauce. Depending on how much potatoes and meat you have, you may need 1/4 to 2 quarts of cheese sauce, mornay sauce, bechamel with cheese. I grated cheese to make my sauce, and I will sprinkle some cheese on top when I assemble the dish. This is the dish I'm going to use, one of those Pyrex kind of dish. Non-reacting, oven-proof, because I'll finish it in the oven. And shortly I will make my sauce and show you the assembly. Here are the turnips. Nice, just fork tender. Still texture a little bit. It looks like I fogged up the lens.
Finishing my sauce bechamel.
Use your favorite cheese sauce at this point. If I get it in a comment, enough interest in seeing my cheese sauce. So this is bechamel milk base with a thickener, and I'm gonna turn it into a mornay by adding more than a little bit of grated Swiss cheese. If you prefer to go cheddar cheese, you could do that as well. We don't necessarily do the classic here. I'll call this my alternative cuisine. Sometimes you just make some alteration. As long as you end up with a good product, nutritious product. Some cheese flavor in there, allowing the cheese to melt. And now will come with the cheese
Sauce.
It's done. I had a few slices of provolone. I used it, melted in there. You can have fun with whatever cheese you have. Some works better melted. Provolone will work. And so now assembly.
Oven safe.
Dish. That's a pretty large dish. That's why
I made
1.5 quarts of mornay sauce, cheese sauce. And I'm gonna put 1/4 inch of sauce on the bottom. Spread it out a little. Then I'm preheating the oven at 350 degrees while I'm doing this. And I got my potatoes and my turnips. So I'm gonna start spreading the potatoes, leaving a little space in between just to even things out a little bit, and then I'll go in between the spaces with the turnips. There we go. This dish is probably gonna provide us more than one meal. That's the beauty of cooking sometimes. You cook for more than one meal, and then one day you don't have to cook. So now I'm gonna add the turnips. Wonderful smells, fragrance. Yeah, I think the ratio 40-60 works well. 60% of turnips, more turnips than starch. You already got a little bit thickener in the sauce, so a great winter dish. And you could leave it at that. Keep it lacto-vegetarian since you got some milk and a little bit of butter for the roof. But we're gonna add some meat to it, but that's optional. And the type of meat is optional too. Make sure it's fully cooked when you put it in there, because when you put it, reheat it, finish it, gratinate the top, you do not really fully cook the dish anymore. So all of your sauce is cooked, your potatoes are steamed, so you don't need cooking time anymore. Just reheat and serve. And now we got the mixture of meat here that I steamed up in the steamer after the veggies, and you sprinkle the meat on top, and then we're going to cover all this up with the balance of the sauce. My oven is preheated. I've heard the ding. Always try to think a step ahead. Those smoked cured meat will add a nice little flavor to the dish, and you could put deli turkey in it, ham. Sometimes you utilize what you got in your refrigerator to rotate your food, and have fun. Experiment. That's what this is all about. That's the beauty of making your own dishes. tailor them to what you like. Okay, cover this with a sauce. The sauce will penetrate between the pieces of veggies as well and the meat. Yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, a lot of cheese in there, so if it gets too cold, it's gonna get thicker and thicker and thicker. You see that cheese? Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna use the magic tool that's called a rubber spatula to make sure I don't get anything left in the pan. Scrape it well in, scrape it. Waste out one knot, spray it out to cover all the food items. Protect from the heat of the broiler. Uncovered product would have a tendency to dry out. So you cover everything with a bit of sauce. Now we're gonna cover more cheese. And then, but it's already warm, so it won't take long. You could prep the dish ahead of time, and then you would have to reheat it for longer. Ready to go in the oven.
Et voila, just coming out of the oven.
Smelling good. Brown on top, the cheese. Ready to be served. And now time for a taste. That wonderful casserole. The cheese is nice and crispy. Look at this. See that gratiné brown on top? Gratin or gratin. Yummy. Those colored potatoes. Tender. Moist with the cheese gratin on top. Perfectly seasoned. Amazing. Such a great nuanced flavor. The turnip. And with the mornay sauce, cheese sauce. It all combined well together. Definitely a keeper. Wow. Comment below. Share. Let me know what else you want to see. Amazing.